If you're looking for something meaningful, it's time to take inventory of what you are actually available for. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of spring cleaning when it comes to your emotional space and love life. I've got some exact steps on what you can look for that let you know it's time to do a little tune-up here and how you can follow through with that so that you can open up some space for something new to come in and flourish. If you're new to my work, my name's Courtney Shand. I'm a relationship coach. I really love helping men embody more of that masculine energy that allows them to show up more confident, calm, and secure in the dating space, especially early on, to know what they're looking for and how to build something that can last from those first few dates on. It's springtime here in the United States, and I thought, what better time to do a little bit of spring cleaning than right now. We can apply the same concept that we use to our home, to our lawn, to our gardens, to our love life, and really see some growth in our own life. So let's make some room for you to grow. A lot of the conversations that I've been having lately are actually just symptoms of a need for a spring clean to be happening. So I want to share a couple that have been coming up in conversation on repeat, as always, when it's coming up multiple times throughout my week. I know there's probably a lot of people that could benefit from the same concept. So let's dive into it together. Some signs that you're ready for some spring cleaning in your own life. First of all, that you feel bored or numb or a little bit unenthused. This isn't to say that everything has to be like new and shiny and exciting, but if you have this sense of dull numbness or disinterest in your life, there's probably some things that need to be shaken up that aren't going to disrupt the main frame of your life, that will still allow you to feel stable, but also create a little bit of excitement or exhilaration energy for you. This often shows up in clients who are coming to me as a general sense of overwhelm too. When you think about making some changes or really moving forward in any direction, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, there is a sense of overwhelm or not sure where to start, or it just feels like a lot. All of those things are things that I hear all the time, and it's usually a good indicator that your bandwidth is being spread a little bit too thin. In order to take on something new, we have to clear out some space for you to be able to focus on learning and growing and developing the skills that you need in order to feel calm and secure and confident in applying them. And if you find yourself second guessing yourself with rational reasons as to why you shouldn't take action or why you are not able to make some changes in your life, this is often a good sign too that you need a little bit of spring cleaning. So let's dive into it together. As with any good spring cleaning project, we have to take inventory of the space that we have. And this includes how much time, how much actual space, and how much emotional and mental bandwidth you have at this current time. When you're looking at it, kind of like if you were taking on your garage or your yard, how do you want to be using it? What would serve you best during this season? As I've been having these conversations this week as to why we don't clean house on a regular basis when it comes to our mental and emotional space, the themes that have been coming forward make total sense, and they might for you as well. The first one is that our brain craves a certain amount of certainty. We prefer certainty over possibility because one is known and we can predict it. The other one, while very exhilarating, is also going to create challenges that we don't necessarily know that we're prepared for. And so when we're thinking about cleaning out space, it's going to open up space for something new to come in. And sometimes that can be a little bit scary, especially when we're comfortable with what we have been creating. So the trade-off is often this level of comfort for the level of exhilaration and turn on in your life that you are after. The second reason is that we can often see things that we are letting go of as a failure or wasted space, wasted time, wasted effort. It's sort of a sunk cost belief. But what actually ends up happening when we don't let these things go is that you may find yourself half in situations, maybe bouncing around, hoping that something will course correct in the situations or the relationships that you currently have. And what I know to be true is that relationships often don't course correct on their own. They are similar to riding a bike in that they require a little bit of extra effort and a little bit of direction in order to get them going in the right in order to keep them from feeling wobbly and all over the place. And so this is something that a lot of times we resist because it does take a little bit of extra bandwidth, and it can be the difference between us feeling harmonious and happy and lit up in our life and feeling numb and burned out. But here's one thing that I know about masculine energy. It thrives in spaciousness. Vastness and nothingness feel like home and like respite to your mental and emotional space. And yet when there's this emotional clutter that you haven't dealt with, it can sometimes feel a little bit daunting or overwhelming, because not only do you have to sort through it all to get rid of it, you also don't want to throw away things that are helpful. And so the sorting process can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming when it's easier to just imagine that it's not there. So let's get into some practicalities of what this could look like so that you have some action plans to clear some space out for yourself so that you can feel like you're thriving. So there's 3 areas that I would encourage you to look at if you're wanting to do a little spring cleaning in your emotional world for your relationships. The first one is the connections that you have currently. Whether you're in the dating phase, whether you are just looking for a companion, or you have something long term, take inventory of the connections that you already have and just notice, are they fulfilling for you? During this season of your life, is it something that you feel nourished by? And if not, going back to that bike analogy, is there some effort or some direction that you would be willing to contribute in order to get it going in a way that feels mutually beneficial for you too? The people who really enjoy and value your company want this kind of feedback. And although it can be really daunting to give, and I have a masterclass on how to share that kind of information too. I talk about that in Rooted as well. Even though it's kind of daunting to share this kind of information, the people who love and care about you want for you to be thriving too. I'm always talking about win-win dynamics, because when you are dealing with an empowered person, they actually want for you to be flourishing just as much. So it's not going to be this imbalance in the relationship. It really is meant to be a mutual reciprocal dynamic. So take a look at your relationships, and do you notice a pattern where they feel like you give a lot and don't get a lot in return? Or is it maybe the other way around? The second thing I would have you look at is, I feel like I'm going into homework territory here, but the second thing that I would have you look at is, what versions of yourself are you ready to outgrow? Sometimes we keep ourselves playing small because we are more used to being the version who doesn't handle rejection well, or that thing didn't work out for us, or I'm not skillful in this way. We're so attached to that version of ourselves that we keep ourselves playing small. And this happens with my female clients too, so that's why I'm saying we. But what we need to do is go in and actually release that version of us and allow it to grow and mature into the next level of who we're meant to be. When we aren't continuing to grow and lean into that leading edge, that kind of growth edge for ourselves, we will find ourselves feeling stagnant in most areas of our life. I see this to be the case almost always, and this is what I'm working on with a lot of my one-on-one clients, is really finding and even leaning a little further into that growth edge for them. This is where your exhilaration, that turn on energy in your life, gets to come online, and it can be really exhilarating. It can also feel a little destabilizing if you're used to that comfort zone. And that's where having some support as you're walking on that edge can be really powerful. But just notice, where are you ready for some more challenge in your life? Is there a new skill that you want to pick up? Is there a new hobby that you've been putting off? Are there new people that you've been wanting to connect with? Is dating something that you're really ready to lean into and build some skills that allow for that relationship to progress and deepen? All of these things are things that you might want to take some inventory of during this season. A common way that I see this playing out in my clients is when they are struggling to let go of old connections. A lot of times it is the one that got away, the ex that we're still replaying some of those arguments. We still have the wounds that we haven't necessarily processed. We're still connected to someone online. We still kind of check in on them, maybe on their social media profile. We're still somehow attaching to this old life that we have been living. And in order to open up space in your emotional bandwidth, sometimes cleaning house can look like being willing to unfollow or mute that person, being willing to get some support to really go in and clean some of those emotional wounds, reframe them so that you feel more in charge and in your power again, so that you aren't leading with that particular wounding or recreating that experience because that's how you're seeing the world or the dating landscape. All of these things can keep you emotionally tied up and unavailable to a new partner. So my encouragement would be to make some space in your home, in your calendar, in your emotional and mental bandwidth. Take note of how much space you currently have and what you would be willing to contribute to a relationship if you were to have one. Because the masculine provides the space for the feminine to fill. when we're talking about energy dynamics, thinking about it that way may be helpful when you're thinking about cleaning out your emotional house, if you will. If you want to attract a specific type of woman, what type of space would she need to really flourish? Can you work on building that now and clearing out some of the space that has been taken up by other things so that this particular type of woman would be attracted to that space? You don't have to do it perfectly, but I can almost guarantee, because I've seen this so often with my one-on-one clients, that when you start doing this kind of work, you start setting some new boundaries in your life and hold the expectation that your life is improving in general, you naturally start becoming attractive to a new type of person. So if you're not turned on by your own life, it's time to do some spring cleaning. Take inventory of what's going on in your world, what you have space for, and how you want to be using your mental and emotional bandwidth so that you can not only attract someone new, but you can be really clear about what you are wanting to create with someone and tell really quickly if this is a good fit for you. If you want some more help with this, I have a whole program designed to help you get clear on this. It's called Rooted. I also have a few spaces left for one-on-one support. And last week's masterclass was on how to let her know that you're not interested. So if you need some really practical scripts and ways of thinking about breaking off these conversations, that might be a really great resource to check out. If you're wanting to step into a bolder, more exhilarating energy in your life, I would definitely recommend the masterclass Move Like You're Unrejectable, because that is designed to help you do some emotional spring cleaning too. Otherwise, the dating codes are always a really fun resource. I walk you through lots of scenarios and how to think about them so that you can make the most empowered moves in your dating life. And if you're not already a member on this YouTube channel, there is a space just for members. I share weekly questions to help you apply the information that we're talking about on the weekly videos, as well as live Q&As that I'm doing, and lots of free resources there to check out. So feel free to check out the members tab on the top of this page. Finally, I'd love to hear in the comments what you're letting go of and what you're making some space for this season so we can really celebrate your spring cleaning process. And as always, I will see you next week.